back to 6 on Guitars Luthier lessons. We're covering French polishing still, and I just wanted to update you on the progress of the guitar so far. And you got a really good reflection of light there. Actually, I wonder if you could see what I'm seeing, because I'm getting the camera reflection. There's a refrigerator back there. That's the white thing. Let's see if we can find anything else. That's a white towel that's sitting on top of a cabinet. Let's see if we can get my drill press. Not really. But yeah, as you rotate this, you're basically seeing everything that's in my shop. There's a bunch of my tools sitting on the shelf right there. And they're getting up to the window now. I mean, it's getting pretty cool. This is about the shiniest surface I think I've ever created. And you can see my face in it now. So I'm pretty satisfied. I'm going to do a couple more bodying sessions on this just to put a little bit more shellac on there and thicken it up just a shade. This has been 3 bodying sessions. So with I think maybe 2 to 3 more, I think we'll have just an amazing finish. I mean, we've already put a lot of time and effort into these first 3. It's worth it to put in another 2 or 3 just to make it exquisite. I mean, because like I said, the fact that you can see my face in this thing, I mean, it's pretty cool, but it can be better. So you've already put in time, put in a little bit more time. I'm going to take you over now, this may be a little bit longer of a video, but I'm going to show you how I'm actually applying the shellac. Because I switched, not really switched, but I started using some mineral oil for some lubrication, but I'm still doing the long strokes on there, so that way it keeps everything nice and evened out instead of getting it all, crunched up and swirly. So I'm going to take you over to the bench now and show you how to start applying some more. Here's the guitar. Again, we're all ready to start doing some bodying on here. Got my shellac and my denatured alcohol, and I saved my rubber in a sealed jar like I was talking about. So I'm going to get that guy, set that down carefully. I'm going to get this guy out of here. Still damp, which is good. That's what we want. I'm going to set the jar over here. Now what we're doing with the mineral oil is, the mineral oil is basically lubrication. In the beginning I said I wasn't going to use it, and normally I don't. This is a lot bigger, there's a little bit bigger surface on here, and it's gumming up a lot more than I normally get. So what you do, and again, this is just CVS Pharmacy or Walgreens mineral oil. Stuff's like $3 or $4. It's pretty cheap. So take the cap and pour about half a capful in there, so that way you're not trying to get it out of the dispenser when you need it, and just set that on the bench. I'm going to try to find a spot where you might actually be able to see that. So set that on the bench, open up your 2 bottles. Now in the beginning you want to go primarily shellac with just a little bit of alcohol, and as you start getting through into the later bodying sessions you want to start reversing that ratio to closer to half and half, and then you want to get it over to where it's sometimes even a little bit more alcohol than shellac. But the more shellac you put, the more you're going to lay down. So if you continually want to lay down more, and oh, it's cool, you can see my hand in there. I didn't just notice that. The more shellac you put on, the more you're going to lay down. But there is an upper limit. You want to do this in thin layers. That's the whole point. So I'm going to turn on another light so we can see this a little bit better. You might actually be able to see some of the vapor trails coming out. So what I'm going to do first is, I'm going to clean off this nozzle because it's kind of gunky. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to wet this fairly nice with shellac, get it built up again. I'm going to add just a little shot of the denatured alcohol, and then I'm going to dip my finger in here, and I'm going to rub it all over the pad. And what that's for is so that way the entire surface of the pad gets lubricated. Now, the way the mineral oil functions is it lubricates. So as you're coming down across like this, what you're winding up doing is you're depositing mineral oil onto the guitar, as well as your shellac and as well as your denatured alcohol. But what's happening is the alcohol can evaporate through the mineral oil, so everything is still going to dry underneath. The solvent can still make it through. You're not trapping anything in. So the cleaner your surface is with your mineral oil, the cleaner the final surface is going to be, and the less you're going to have to do to sand it. So again, you just keep running these long strokes back and forth. If you feel your pad start to get sticky, and you will in the beginning until you get enough oil in the pad and enough oil on the surface, if you feel your pad start to get sticky, what you want to do is go ahead and add a little bit more mineral oil. Now, you're going to have to add mineral oil a lot in the beginning, just until, like I said, enough of it gets on the guitar or gets on the pad that you're having enough to stay slippery all the time. But after that, you really shouldn't have to add very much at all. So I'm not feeling too sticky because this pad's been used a bunch of times, so I'm really not worried about adding too much mineral oil just yet. But I'm going to check my pad. Pad's starting to turn a little white. So I'm going to add a little bit more shellac to it, just kind of drench the surface, and then add a little shot of my denatured alcohol. And now what I'm going to start doing is long, tight ovals. The longer and the tighter the oval, the better. So long, tight ovals. That way I don't have any funny streak marks or anything like that, and all that stuff gets rubbed out. So keep going through. again, this is a long procedure. Pretty much, I like to do these long ovals and then mix it up with some straight ones. But the biggest thing is you want to finish with straight, because the straight ones are going to line up any goofiness that you have if you have a little too much mineral oil on the surface. It's going to line all those differences up with the grain. So what will wind up happening is if there's any, kind of like sanding with the grain. If there's still scratches, they're just with the grain, so you can't see them. But make sure you don't really stop when you're on the surface at any point, because if you do, it's going to leave a mark. And that's why you're doing circles at the end and not just stopping and turning around. So, got a pretty good set on here. And it's hard for you to see the vapor trail that's following it, but you'll see a little evaporation trail following your strokes as you go through. And that's as the denatured alcohol is escaping through the mineral oil. It leaves a little bit of a telltale streak. So again, I'm going to add a little bit more shellac. Just a quick little shot of the denatured. One more little bit of mineral oil. And now, like I was saying, I want to make sure that I get some good straight strokes in here to even out any of those last bit of swirlies that are coming in with doing those long swirly strokes. Now I'm going to save you from having to sit through 20 minutes of this, because literally you want to do this for 15-20 minutes, just back and forth over and over on it, and that's going to lay down enough shellac that you're getting to the point where you have a nice good solid layer on there. And if you keep on going and going, what's going to happen is it's going to mush that layer, and you're going to get it too soft, and then you start making indentations, and you don't want that. So again, I'm going to continue doing this kind of on my own time here after a couple more seconds. And I'll just, like I said, I'll keep going. I'll bring you back and show you the progress as we go. But this is it's coming along really, really well. And as long as you finish with nice straight strokes, you're not going to have to worry about too many problems with the mineral oil. It's only when you leave the swirls that you might have to sand after the end. And I know too that I'm probably going to have to sand with a little bit of mineral oil at the end of this, maybe with like a 2000 grit paper or something, even maybe a little bit finer. And that's just going to be to just get my last bit of final kind of polish on there, and then I'll probably come back with one more quick little bodying session. I don't know, but I have to see how good the sanding comes out. So, normally with a French polish you shouldn't have to do any sanding, so as long as I get enough of my mineral oil streaks out of there, I'm going to be happy. The other thing you can do too is come back with a pad that just has denatured alcohol on it. And what that's going to let you do is reanimate some of the shellac, and the pad itself will act as your abrasive. And what that's going to wind up doing is knock down a lot of those streaks, because you won't be using any mineral oil. So again, it's just a different method of finishing the finish. There's a bunch of them out there. But if you have any questions, just shoot me an email at 6gunguitars@gmail.com. And like I said, just keep on going and going and going. Add shellac when your pad turns white and you don't really feel like you're getting any more when you push your finger in there. And just keep on going like that. And do this procedure about 6 to 8 times, letting it dry for at least a few hours in between bodying sessions. And you will have a wonderful, wonderful finish. And again, if I turn this off, you can see my hand about clear as day in there, and part of it's because of the mineral oil, but once that gets taken off, and in between sessions, take the mineral oil off with naphtha. So after it dries 3 or 4 hours, or 2 to 3 hours, get a little bit of naphtha, put it on a rag, wipe off the mineral oil, and then start fresh, because the mineral oil is going to be left on the surface. But again, you can see my hand in here, and that's an amazing look. So again, shoot me an email, 6gunguitars@gmail.com if you have any questions, and I'd be glad to help you out.